Hey, hey, hey! What is up, Beyond the Gates fans? It is Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025, talking about today's Tuesday episode of Beyond the Gates. And I got to get this out because my next premiere, episode 3 of The Traders OCG, will be premiering here at 9 p.m. Eastern Time and 6 p.m. Pacific. If you haven't watched that, catch up on it and watch it because tonight's episode will be a tense one. Anyway, today's episode of Beyond the Gates was a tense one at times as well, as we got the shocking revelation of the Anita storyline. And it was not something I saw coming, so I commend the show for that. And it's a pretty dark revelation as well. You know, last week I said that I had read that this is something, the story is supposed to be something that was never done on soaps before. And while soaps have definitely dealt with suicide, and trigger warning for anyone out there, that is the topic we will discuss with Anita's story. Soaps have dealt with depressed characters and the possibility of suicide, but never in a way like this, that someone is maybe being held responsible for pushing someone to the edge of committing suicide. So it turns out, we've met Tracy and Sharon, and Anita has always talked about them, but there was a fourth articulates member once upon a time named Barbara. And it sounded like from today's letter that Anita was reading that Barbara and Anita were really good friends. That's what I gathered from the letter, and that this was their dream together to have a music group and make it big. But then the big bad producer that they are, I think his name is Dante Green, something to that effect. They keep saying his name, and I am hoping one day he will be around because he sounds like a real asshole. He fired Barbara from the group, and Anita was the Anita that we have come to know. A cold, kind of calculated bitch is the way I would describe Anita, and said that show business is tough and sacrifices had to be made. And I guess Barbara didn't take that well and decided to kill herself. And Anita has that letter hidden away in her desk and has memorized the letter, because by the end of reading the letter today, she was reading the letter without actually reading it. She was saying it out loud without actually reading it. So we see that Anita is guilty about this, and should be from the way it sounds. I've been saying from pretty early on that the character of Anita is so hard for me to like. And now that we are getting more layers, I mean, I still don't like the cold bitch. But I am glad that we are getting this background on why Anita is the way that she is. And I commend the show for going down this path. It's gonna I want to see how they approach this story. I read that they casted someone to be a younger Anita, so I'm assuming at some point we're gonna get flashbacks. So they're taking their time to tell this story, and I'm glad we're gonna get flashbacks to actually hopefully see what happened with the younger articulates. So yeah, Anita comes out of the story looking like quite the villain, I would say. And if I wasn't already Team Sharon, like I said yesterday, I am even more Team Sharon today. Anita was someone that would stop at nothing to get where she is today, and even sacrificing her best friend. It's tough, but all I hope from this story is that I want Sharon to stick around. That's really the main thing I want from the story. I think Sharon will be a much needed character going forward, especially after this revelation. Anita needs a character to always stick it to her from this point forward. I also want to see how they write Vernon in this story, because apparently, from what we've gathered, if this is the secret that Sharon is talking about, then Vernon might even not know all of this either. So how will he react when this revelation comes out? Because Anita has withheld truths from him. So I'm very interested in this. It's finally a new story besides the Leslie shenanigans that really has me interested. So clearly they are doing a good job. Many other stuff did happen today, though. Like, we'll start with Dani and Haley. Haley brought over her pregnancy test to show Dani that she's really pregnant. And Dani still won't believe her. And Dani tried to ask her to take a new pregnancy test. Here, go into my bathroom and take a pregnancy test. And on one hand, I can see why Haley refused to do that. It's asking a lot of her from her arch nemesis, even though Haley is the reason that Dani is her nemesis on the show. But this also leaves it open-ended that Haley could actually be lying about being pregnant. So I don't know where I stand. I kind of want her to be pregnant just because Haley needs something to do on the show besides just always having sex with Bill. So I guess this gives her more to do. We'll get back to Dani. Speaking of Bill, though, he gets first he wants Tomas to spy on his family for him. He wants Tomas to get info out of Kat because Kat doesn't hold back when she talks, which is true. And Bill's daughters are once again being cold with him after the revelation from from Leslie, that Bill helped Ted with that and to send Leslie away. So I guess Tomas is going to get info out of Kat. What we're learning about the Tomas character, or I like to call him Thomas because he's so boring and doesn't deserve the name Tomas with all that flair. We're learning that Thomas will stop at nothing to get ahead in with Bill. He wants to be a partner one day with Bill. And I think he will happily use Kat if he needs to do that. But they also try to paint Thomas as this really good guy too. But he still just bores me. I'm sorry. I struggled with his scenes with Kat today. But anyway, then Naomi comes to see Bill and Haley. Naomi learns that Haley's pregnant with Bill's child. Of course, she doesn't take that well. She kind of reads them both for filth, and then we get Bill's shakiness again, and he starts slurring his words. And by the end of the episode, I'm gathering that he's having a stroke of some kind. I mean, that seems to be the direction they're going. At first, I was like, is Bill just doing this because Naomi is once again actually giving him shit? Because the first time we saw his hand thing, it was problems with Naomi again. And I thought maybe this is just his way to manipulate her to not be mad at him all the time. In fact, I would like that better, but I don't think that is actually what's happening. I think we are going to have a Bill health scare storyline. It's not something I'm necessarily looking forward to, but I do think that is where we're going with Bill. I guess it's a stroke. It's something, maybe it doesn't seem like a heart problem. It seems more like a stroke with the whole slurred speech thing. And then we'll get back to Dani and Andre. We had some Andre scenes with Ashley. I just don't care. In fact, in my notes, I just have yuck when it comes to Andre and Ashley sharing scenes. And then later in the episode, they tried to make Ashley and Derek more interesting by giving them scenes with Leslie. And on one hand, I always like on a soap opera when characters that don't usually interact start to interact. So on one hand, that's nice to see. But on the other hand, not even Leslie can make Ashley and Derek more interesting to me. I'm sorry. Ashley just trying to talk back to Leslie felt so out of place that it just didn't work. So To me, it's yet another fail with Ashley and Derek. Then Andre goes to visit Dani today, and this is after his run-in with Ashley. So we're learning that unfortunately Andre is still pining for Ashley. And he's going to Dani trying to say he doesn't want them to be no strings attached anymore. He wants strings attached. And he's upset that Dani's upset by Bill and Haley all the time. He wants Dani to focus on him because he is someone in front of her that actually cares about her. And he's right about that. But as they continue to talk, they both do figure out that they're just kind of using each other. And Dani called him out on his shit that there is another woman involved. And by the end of their conversation, they understand that they're just two people whose hearts belong to someone that doesn't want them. And they always turn to each other. And I'm glad that they realize this now, because I don't think they always have, that they turn to each other when they're down about Bill and Ashley and use each other for sex. It's a very realistic thing that humans do. And it's why I do like their relationship. And by the end of this episode, they are once again using each other for sex. And I don't hate it. I don't know if I want Andre and Dani to ever be strings attached. But it's better than Andre being with Ashley, that's for sure. And it's also better than Dani always being pathetic where Bill and Haley are concerned. Because if Haley really is pregnant and the way Dani's been trying to just cling on to the fact that she's lying about it, it once again makes Dani just look very pathetic to me. So it's always been Dani's worst trait to me is how pathetic she gets for Bill. But yeah, I thought today was a great episode. I liked pretty much everything except Derek and Ashley. No surprise there. And yes, the Anita revelation was a toughie. It's a dark turn for the story, but it's it gives us the possibility of some really deep scenes coming up. And I just hope that Sharon can continue to give Anita what she needs, which is some hard doses of reality about herself. Anita's not a good person, not even a little bit. And the whole facade that she and Vernon always put up, I hope it really starts to be broken down these next few months because I've been complaining about their fake facade since almost the beginning. So it's good to see some pieces start to chip away at that facade there. Per usual, let me go read some comments from yesterday's video. There was only a few, so if you have comments, please do leave them on this video. I do want to know your thoughts on this Anita revelation. Ray says, I love the character Sharon, and I want to know what secrets Sharon got on Anita. He's also asking where Malone is. Yeah. He says, it's funny when folks just disappear in thin air and audience knows nothing. Ray also says, the way Eva stood up to Leslie was good to see. Leslie getting a taste of her own medicine. Yeah, I loved Eva having a backbone with Leslie yesterday, like I said. And yeah, like I said in the comments, soap operas love to just disappear characters out of nowhere, which is something I don't love. Hemi said, if they decide to revisit the Dirty Cop storyline, they need to recast Jacob's partner. I didn't care for the last one. Fair enough. And then Hemi also said, Sharon's outfit really giving Feliz Navidad. No, truly. It was Christmas in June. It really was. Hemi also says Anita should have let sleeping dogs lie and forgot about this old timey reunion because Sharon is ultra bitter, but she has the right to be upset. They keep bringing up Dante. I wonder if the big secret is that he's Nicole or Danny's daddy. I don't want another someone else's kid right now. We had that too much with the whole Leslie and Eva stuff with Ted. So I like this whole direction of, even though it's dark, I do like the direction they're going in with Anita and the Articulates. Anyway, I gotta go. The Traders OCG will be premiering on this channel, episode 3, here in about 10 minutes. I don't know if I'll see y'all tomorrow. I might not be back to talk about Beyond the Gauge until Thursday, but we'll see how it goes.